Welcome, everybody, in the Movie Guys verse. This is Jordan here, part of Movie Guys Podcast. We wanted to say thank you so much for downloading this most recent episode. If you don't know what Movie Guys Podcast is, we are a new movie review show that is updated weekly. You can check us out at movieguyspodcast.com and also movieguyspodcast.podbean.com. Sit back and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another awesome episode of Movie Guys Podcast. And tonight we are talking about a sequel that we have been waiting 2 years to review, Happy Death Day to You. And Happy Death Day to you, Eric. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, man. Damn it, you know what? I couldn't think of a fucking fun. I'm not even going to do it anymore, but I'm feeling kind of miserable or torn into 6 different dimensions after watching this type of movie. Ed, what do you think?
Well, I just wish I would have been treed instead of watching this movie.
There you go.
Oh, my God. See, Ed's the king of the bad puns.
That's why it's just like, I'm glad I could open for him, but I can't even. Yeah, well, whatever. I smoke my memory away anyway, so it's not that.
Yeah.
Anything that I come up with in the car ride home is going to even be worth anything, because I had a lot to think about on the car ride home. I'm sure you guys did after watching a movie like this, huh?
Yeah, no, it was interesting. A lot of mixed emotions when I left the theater with my wife. We went in guns a-blazing. We were so excited. We got there a whole 20 minutes early. We were excited. We were talking about it. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? I can't believe 2 years ago, I had no interest in seeing the original Death Day. But when I saw it and we reviewed it, man, did I love it. And I was really excited for the sequel. So, I was really excited. Eric, Ed. Eric, let's go with you first, man. Were you excited at all for Happy Death Day to you? Did you?
Well, yeah, of course. Especially because the writer-director from the first movie, or the director of the first movie, Happy Death Day, Christopher Landon, was also writing and directing this movie. So, for sure, I'm getting what I would imagine to be more of the same. I was very excited just because Happy Death Day was such a fun surprise. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has a preconceived notion of how a whodunit or a horror slasher pick is going to go, and just kind of a lot of the rules that they have to abide by, right? I mean, who the hell? Obviously, you guys know. Jeez, you guys grew up on those types of movies. Yeah. Like, that's just perfectly how it is. So having something like Happy Death Day, where it was done. Well, it's just something you haven't seen before, or maybe was familiar enough, but this new edge, it was just a nice slice of pie. And so yeah, going into this one, there was big hopes for that, especially because a lot of the same actors are in this one too.
Majority, yeah. Ed, how about you? Were you excited for Happy Death Day to you? Were you excited for the sequel?
Yeah, I mean, when I heard about it, I didn't know what direction they would take it, but walking into the theater and after hearing about it, yes, I was excited. That quickly changed, however.
Well, we're going to get into it here. This review is going to be filled with spoilers. We always try to give everybody here who's listening to us a quick little synopsis of the movie, but if you do not want to listen to our review just yet because you don't want to be spoiled, then watch the flick first and then come back. But here we go. It's a very, very simple plot. It is the next day after the sequel, after the first movie. It's the next day for Happy Death Day to You. And Ryan, the token Asian friend, roommate of Tree's boyfriend, he's going through a time loop now. And they discover that there are 6 different dimensions, and it is all because of Ryan and his science geek friends that have caused this time loop. And Tree goes back to her original time loop in another dimension to try to go back to the way it was originally. That's the plot.
Is she pissed.
That's the original plot.
So that's what it is. This is based off the characters originally. I just wanted to cover real quick. Is that like the original writer, Scott Lobdell? I hope I'm saying that right?
That's correct. He did not write this. He created the first one, And he's a member of the Movie Guys verse, so we're pretty excited about that. But yeah, he created the first one, and he obviously was credited with the character creation, but did not write this
one. All right.
So, let's for the sake of argument, since they don't call them by anything, let's call the first movie Dimension A, and let's call what happens in this movie Dimension B, just for the audience, so we can kind of differentiate between the two. Would that be fair for you guys?
Well, yeah, you can also do 1U and 2U because that's what I had thought. But either one works. You do A and B's and 1s and 2s. I think everyone will get it, right?
Yeah, just trying to make it simple for people because it does get confusing. So we'll go right into the jump of this here. The movie starts off with Ryan waking up in his car. Here's a joke. I said to my wife when we were in theaters, I was like, "Hey, honey, is it racist that an Asian American is waking up in a Kia Soul?" Just asking.
He did kind of look like a hamster.
Ooh, oh, but anyway.
I wouldn't even say that. I'd say anyone who wears a vest like that, because was it a vest he was wearing?
That's true.
It was like straight Back to the Future 2, which I'm sure we'll get into later. But the movie opens up with a time loop, and Ryan is now the character that we are following in the beginning of this movie. He goes to a science lab. We are discovering that him and his science geeks friends have created this force or whatever this thing is that they've created, and they're trying to see. That's where it gets jumbled for me. They were trying to do something, but it turned out it actually created a loop, and Ryan gets killed by the babyface killer, awakens again in the same loop again, and then tells Tree and everybody else, and they figure it out, and Tree stops the babyface killer because their idea to stay safe was to go to a basketball game where everybody was wearing the babyface mask. And they uncover the mask killer, and it turns out to be Ryan from another dimension. Right off the bat, I'm angry. Yeah. I'm angry.
Really?
Ed, yes, I'm angry right now at this point in this beginning, this first 10, 15 minutes. Ed, I said, you said you were pissed. How do you feel about this opening?
Yeah, I called bullshit right away. As soon as we went this direction, right? I basically said to myself, bullshit. All right, here the fuck we go. Like, we're going here. Okay, fine. It's a sequel. I'm gonna try to give it like a thing, and it's just like, how is this? Like, this was the only thing that was horror movie related because it's typical horror movie that like they fucking went into the worst possible thing you could have done.
Yeah,
really.
At a high school basketball game where everybody's wearing the mask.
Yeah, well, I think it's college. Yeah. During college, but yeah.
I did appreciate. Yeah, it's college. Bayfield, is that what it is? Bayview or whatever, something like that.
Something like that.
I did kind of appreciate that the movie. I felt kind of made fun of itself in the part. Not even just that, but just kind of maybe lightened it a little bit. Like even in that area of the shot of everyone in the basketball thing, and you get the mask of the baby like sucking on a bottle. Why? And you even hear like a back comment just like, "Why is our mascot a baby again?" Like, who the fuck would pick a baby as a mascot? So, it's kind of funny in that part. I think that set the tone for me. Is that this movie was going to be this playful tone.
Eric. So, if I'm hearing you right, you like the Ryan loop. You're liking this. This does not steer you away. This is what you came to see. This Ryan loop. Because I was totally disappointed.
I didn't want this whole dimensional thing to happen that they did. I mean, like, I'm on board. Let's go. I'll watch to see what else you guys got. But no, this is a turn from. I didn't expect this in the movie. But at the same part, like, I don't know what else you could do. No, actually, this is probably a lot you could have done besides doing this whole time thing. But It's a lot of extra. A lot's going on. Like the movie starts hot out of the gate, doing this whole Ryan loop thing. And then they started to add this thing where he's his own killer, and this whole merging of the dimensions type thing.
Which he wasn't even from dimension A or B. He was from one of the other dimensions.
Yeah, we can only assume.
Which we never saw those other dimensions. We only saw A and B in this movie.
And yeah, there's presumably 6, right? Because he dropped the number 6. You know what that reminded me of when he had said that there are 6 different dimensions, kind of blah 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 blah. In theory,
Community.
I guess. Yeah, Community. It reminded me just exactly of that episode of Dungeons and Dragons where they're rolling a 6-sided die and there were 6 different outcomes. So that's kind of I don't know. We can expect 4 more movies out of this, right?
Well, the reason why I was so disappointed in this opening, the Ryan loop, is because excuse me, I really cared about Tree. Really did in the first movie. She started off as your bimbo, slutty sorority girl who didn't care about anybody or anything. And the one great thing that the first movie did right was it made me care about her so much and cared about her journey. And not only did I care about her as a character, but also she was charming.
Yeah, good characters, right? They were
very, very good character. So I come here to see Ripley. You know what I mean? I'm coming here to see Tree.
Sure.
When I first come in and I sit down, I have my popcorn ready and I have my Pepsi and I'm sitting with my wife and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about Ryan. He was nothing in the first movie. I don't care.
Listen, I was on board with it for a little because I thought, like, okay, well, because again, I was gonna get more of the same, and that's really what I wanted from this movie. I wanted to well, more often than not, see like the same person get repeatedly, different kills. I want the kill scenes, but and again, he didn't bother me. But yeah, I also wanted to see Tree too because obviously she's advertised in all of the shit. But either way, this is still
beautiful.
early. Yeah, she's very pretty, but this is like still early in the movie. So like this other thing too is that a lot happens, and so
yeah,
we're at this point right now. Yeah, a lot is happening. Because this is only like the first, like you said, 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, the 15, 20 minutes of the movie, I was not into. Before we get into the second part of the story here, Ed, again, you were like, yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, like, what's your opinion about all this run?
Well, at this point, I didn't hate it yet.
Okay, we're talking about the point when it's revealed that Ryan is his own killer, right? Or are we talking about the part where they activate Sissy?
Up to that point, when Ryan is his own killer and other dimensions. I was just curious.
Again, when it's that twist early on in the movie, I'm like, okay, let's hear what you got. I'm open because you got an hour to kill, and you're about to, because I mean, give it a chance. I like the movie that much, or the first one that much, to where I'm going to throw this one a bone. I didn't mind it that it was a different character. I was hoping, just curious to see how they're going to tie it in. Continue.
Well, then, all of a sudden, they all get to the machine. What did you call the machine? What was the name of the machine?
Sissy.
Yeah,
Sissy. So they get ready to turn Sissy on. All of a sudden, the dean and his goons, which is the security guards, come in. They unplug it right at the moment where they're going to turn everything back to the way it was. And then, boom, we're back in the first movie, but in the dimension B, where
they got it off. Right?
Well, they got it off, but it was fucked up, or they unplugged it. It was there, right? I don't know if
he did an impulsive. I think Ryan did like an impulsive thing, just typed it in and just slammed it. Right? Is that what it was?
That's yeah. You're right. So then Tree wakes up, and she's back in the first movie, but in another dimension. Her mother is now alive, and her boyfriend is actually now dating her bitchy sorority sister.
You had a pretty cool sequence there because she woke up and it started as the first movie.
woke up, starts the first movie, and it's your birthday. It's your birthday. I love that ringtone. I want to get that for some reason.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
I kind of do though. Kind of want to.
Well,
You're
I
weird, yeah.
don't know why that would be fitting for you to have as a ringtone when it's not your birthday. Like I
I
feel
mean,
like
why is it fitting for her to have? It was supposed to
It's
be
her
in the
birthday.
club. It was
It was her
supposed to be in
birthday.
the club by 50 Cent. They just didn't have the rights for it because it was in the trailers. But anyway, so now this dimension. Now we're in this dimension, and Tree has to get killed again and again and again to try to figure it out. But however, though, another little plot twist for us is that the science friends have decided. You know what? I'm gonna call them the Super Friends. That's what I'm gonna call them, the Super Friends.
All right.
The Super Friends decide to tell Tree that she has to kill herself or get killed every day so she can come back and memorize and tell them the algorithms that they need to put into the computer to get her back to her original dimension.
Well, I think you're skipping over the story here a little bit. Is that she's obviously very pissed that she's back in her Groundhog Day and having to relive this again. And so she first dismisses it, but then dun dun dun, because of this new dimension, it's still the same movie, which means there's still a killer on the loose.
Yes.
So
And this
she's
is a
in the
part of the movie.
hospital. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. But this is also part of the movie where they talk about the Back to the Future time loop. Back to the Future Part 2. Now, this is the part of the movie where they're in the cafeteria and they're talking and she's spilling the beans about everything and Back to the Future 2 and all this stuff. This is the movie where I start to have fun and smile. Because I'm like, oh yeah, that's what they're doing. This is Back to the Future 2. That's exactly what this pseudo almost franchise is about. It is a slasher franchise with Groundhog's Day with all these other pop culture tropes. This is Ready Player One. Am I wrong or am I right?
Well, for a scary movie genre, maybe.
Well, yeah, because Ready Player One had all of these pop culture references, and it knew what it was doing. So that's what I'm saying that Happy Death Day is. It's like we know that this is pretty much Back to the Future 2, so we're just going to flat out just say it, which I kind of like.
I see where you're going, but go ahead.
Ed, what about you? Are you liking this yet now at this point?
Well, and up until we figure out that it's not actually at all a horror movie, I'm not hating it. So, like, still through this point with your super friends and all that, like, got to go back and relive the thing, and she's got to kill herself. Up until that point, I'm like, okay, like, I get it. Like, we got to figure this out. She's in a new dimension, so it's a new killer that she has to figure out. Like, I think it's dumb, but I'm getting it, right? I'm not hating it.
Why do you think it's dumb?
But then, because it's the same movie, it's the same movie, but it's just a second version of it.
Well, that's
right?
exactly what a sequel is. I mean, Back to the Future 2 is the same movie as the first
but
movie.
You hang on. What did I just say? I says I thought it was stupid, but I didn't hate it. And now, at the point where we're discussing, we discover that it's not a horror movie. It's not. There's no killer we need to go discover because we've already. I mean, we do find something out that's retardedly obvious, but like now it's a sci-fi movie.
No, it's 2-1 because you have the whodunit part of it where they establish that the killer's still out there, different dimensional killer, but it's different this time because we had assumed that it was her roommate because that's what it was in the first movie. But this time, and early on too, right when she first wakes up in her day, she goes to confront her roommate to bust her, and ends up, and that it's not her. Like certain little things were different about her day, right? And
right.
now we're a different dimension. So now we got to figure it out because she finds out later that there was a tragedy at the hospital, and so she had to figure it out. Also, the big lift too is that in this dimension, her mom did die.
Mm-hmm.
So she has to battle that on top of it too. Like so there's all these things going on. But yeah, because of the whole killer thing, she dies a few times, and she's trying to go to Ryan and be like, okay, listen, dude, what the fuck? How do I get back? Then he lays out a little bit of your time killing plot as well too. That hey, listen, we have to find the correct formula or whatever the hell to type into my machine. but there's no way to guess and check. And then they're just like, oh yeah, there is. Tree has to memorize everything.
Yeah.
So they have this whole moment of that, and this seemed a little bit, because in this part, the reason why it's worth mentioning is because now you get the suicide montage. Is because after she goes through that day of learning and whatever the hell it is, then she just kills herself with the memory still fresh in her head, right? And then she goes back to learn more and more and do this thing all over again.
Which, of course, we're going to talk about all of us. And by the way, we have not discussed this movie before the recording. All three of our favorite suicide deaths was her jumping out of the plane in the bikini, slow motion, in front of her boyfriend and her roommate, right? I mean,
that was kind of fun.
That was everybody's favorite, right?
Yeah. Oh, you know what you're getting at there, Jordan? Yes. There was.
No, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not getting anywhere.
She flipped out the cameras. That was kind of fun.
That was fucking hilarious to me, because she's in a plane, everybody's jumping off, skydiving, and she's walking with her bikini on. Which, who cares? I mean, the bikini thing did not do anything for me. What I'm trying to say is that I thought it was fucking hilarious. I've really slapped my knee. Hilarious. That it makes no logical sense. She jumps out of an airplane and she mathematically figures out exactly how she's going to land, where she's going to land, in front of her boyfriend, in front of her bitchy sorority sister, whatever. And, she falls slowly in front of him and flips him off, or flips off the camera. That was hilarious to me. I thought that was just fucking ridiculous. And that's exactly what this movie needed to be. Ed, do you share that same, or do you not agree with that suicide? That was fun.
I mean,
Bleach.
Yeah, okay, like... again, you're sort of trying. The way you phrase the question is like, this movie, is like everything I've said to you so far is like the movie up till the point that we just talked about is not awful, and then and then you realize it's not a horror movie at all, and then you're like, well, yeah, but she killed herself a bunch. That was fun, wasn't it? Don't you think that was fun? I mean, yeah, that was fun, but like that doesn't make this movie any better. Or does it make this movie a horror movie because she kills herself 10,000 times because she had to memorize 12 algorithms?
If I'm being honest, I didn't like the suicide montage.
Oh,
like I get it, like I understand it, but it's just like it's not really what I wanted to see. It's not what I expected from this movie.
I was expecting it.
I get in the first movie they had a kill montage because she was like going to different areas and trying to figure it out, and I liked that. Like that was kind of that was creative. But I guess I mean I don't know. It just didn't seem like not what I expected. I guess.
Well, okay,
I can't find a better way. I can't find a better reason to.
Well, I'm like, this comes to the point of our review when we start arguing probably about this, because I think Ed keeps on saying this, and we're going to have a debate about this. I think these are not horror movies. I mean, the first movie, I would love to talk to the writer one day in the future, but I would love to pick his brain about it, because I don't feel that these were horror movies. I think that I think the first movie was your slapstick. We're going to poke fun of the genre, post-Scream, where everybody knows everything, just like how Scream did in 96, and have fun with the genre and try to add something new to it. Now, in the beginning of this movie, when we got Ryan, I was on into it because I came here to see Tree, because she was charming and wonderful, and I liked her. I didn't care about Ryan. He was nothing of a character in the first movie. But now that we get the Tree stuff, and she's doing mass suicide, and she's just hilarious with it, she's charming me again. She's making me fall in love with her all over again. The actress is doing a good job. So I guess my argument is, for you, Ed, and Eric, I want you to chime in on this, is I don't think these are horror movies. I don't think the first one was either. I think they were just comedies.
No, I mean the first one definitely has like the fact that there's somebody murdering people. Like she gets killed, and the point of the movie is she has to figure out who's killing her in order to not die anymore.
Yeah, but the way that the killer kills her. Yeah, but the way the killer kills her though is slapstick. It's not all serious. It's not
Well,
played
yeah,
for
but it
serious.
still maintains the theme of mystery in the movie. This one doesn't has a lot different going on. It's more, and there's a lot of melancholy in this movie too. This is a drama, dude.
Yeah,
Like
valid.
I even IMDb has it as drama horror. It puts drama first, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I
So,
mean, but that's what I'm into seeing on this because, I mean, like when you told me 2 years ago that we're going to review a movie called Happy Death Day, my mind immediately goes to the 80s slashers of yore with New Year's Evil and Silent Night, Deadly Night and Prom Night and Terror Train and all these stupid
yeah.
movies that are based on a holiday. There was an 80s slasher movie called Happy Birthday to Me. It has the famous cover with the guy screaming with a skew going through his mouth.
well, I
You
mean,
know,
good times, man. My Bloody Valentine's a fun one too.
not my Bloody Valentine, so that's where my mind goes to. But then when I saw the first one in theaters, I was like, oh, this is different. They're not doing My Bloody Valentine. They're doing something different. They're not playing this for serious. They're playing this for laughs. Okay, I'm intrigued. And it also helps that the main character was very charming. So when we get to these scenes in this movie with her doing the suicides and them trying to figure it out, I'm having a great time because that brought me back to the feeling that I had in the first movie. And I don't think the mass suicide off of a plane is any different than her spying on the guy who claimed that he loved her and find out that he was jerking it to gay porn. It's the same shock and awe, just in a
Well,
grander scale because it's the
it was
sequel.
just less mystery. This one was just a bit more of a different movie, you know. Like it seemed like she cracked the code early, you know. Like you know what I mean. Like, she played the game before. She knew it was Colonel Mustard in the hospital with the gun, you know. Like she and then she didn't worry about it. Almost, she's like, "Oh yeah, that one fucking solved. Don't worry about it. Let's move on to my mom in this whole dimensional crisis thing," you know. I felt like that's what it was. This movie was put on the back burner and just like almost like it was aware of itself. And shit, you know what? It's almost like this movie set up so that the other movies can be back to the core. Let's go, boys. I think I just cracked the code.
You did. Like you absolutely did. Like the first one was incredibly creative and it was a horror movie that was, unique to a certain degree. Something that hadn't been done in a long time. And then this movie basically literally just sets up 4 or probably 6 more movies because there's 6 different dimensions. And they cost
Presumably we've
5
seen 2, so
Yeah, they cost between $5 and $10 million to make. They're gonna gross 50, and you know what I mean. So if they gross 50, which isn't that great, but still only cost $5 to $10 million to make, they're doing okay. That's exactly what's going to happen.
we have numbers at the time of this recording.
Yep. Movie was made for $4 to $6 million, and it grossed 26 million so far. Now, last movie, Happy Death Day, cost 4 million, and it grossed 125 million. So clearly, the audience is getting sick of this. They don't want a sequel. I mean, really, how could you have made a sequel off of Happy Death Day? They didn't make a sequel off of Groundhog's Day, but they made a sequel off of that. I mean,
this would be that movie's sequel. Like,
yeah, I mean, was the sequel necessary? No. The sequel was not necessary, but at this point in time in the movie, when she's doing the mass suicides, the same feeling I had during the suicides was the same feeling I had for majority of the first movie, especially coming from a guy who was raised with 80s slasher films. I'm having a good time.
Sure.
I'm enjoying this, especially when they reference Back to the Future 2, which is my favorite, actually, out of the trilogy of Back to the Future. I love Back to the Future 2 the most. So that made a smile on my face. I like that. I just like it. I like pop culture. I like when movies talk about pop culture. It's fun. I enjoy it. So question before we get more into the plot. Eric, I'll ask you first. So Ryan, who is the roommate of the boyfriend, creates this machine, and the machine puts Tree into a loop in the first movie, right? And now in this movie.
Okay.
Is everybody in a loop, or is it just Tree?
Well, we don't. Did we confirm that it was that machine that started the loop?
Yes, and I will explain to this real quick. In the first movie, she would always go through her day and then end at night in her room in the sorority house, and her bitchy friend would come in, say some shit, and leave. And when they were talking, the lights always went out, and that was a subtle theme in the first movie of why did the lights always go off at 11 o'clock at night. In the first movie. Well, in this movie, it answers that question because it does that multiple times in this movie. That it's the machine.
Okay.
So we know from this movie that Ryan at 11 o'clock or 11:30 around that time in the first movie, him and the Super Friends turned on the machine, and that's what caused the loop for Tree.
So that reading was at 12:01.
12:01. There you go. So so my question is it Tree only? It seems like it, or is it everybody?
Yeah, it seems like it. So maybe we'll get an explanation as to if it's Tree only. Well, I mean, in this one it was Ryan. So
this one was Ryan. So so does this machine have intelligence? Does this machine have artificial intelligence where it says, all right, well, this person's a piece of shit, so I'm going to change their lives. They're not a piece of shit, so I'll make them in a loop. I don't know.
No,
I'm just asking.
I would definitely, I would definitively say no.
Well, why is it choosing the people that it chooses?
well, stay tuned for the third movie.
I guess. So Tree discovers in this Dimension B, that her mother is still alive in a very good drama, heartbreaking scene that she's reunited with her mother. She's excited. More shit ensues, and Ryan and the Super Friends said that they are ready to go, that they are going to put everything back. They're going to stop the loop. And Tree and her parents leave the campus, and they go to a hotel, and her mother kind of coaches her and gives her some motherly advice before she realizes that Ryan has died at the hospital trying to save the killer from the first movie. So she kills herself, which I thought was brilliant, by the way, when she killed herself in the electrical plant there. I love that. I love that death. That was
fun.
Death. That was a fun death. Also, my other favorite death was when she was running away from the killer in the hospital, and she's handcuffed, and she accidentally slips and falls off the roof. And the killer just kind of stops. Watch it. That's great. So, Tree comes back. They're going to stop this once for all. And now we got a twist. In this dimension, the babyface killer is not the roommate with the poison cupcake, and it is not the weird, stereotypical 1980s slasher killer that is sleeping in the emergency room.
It is him.
It is.
But we now have another killer,
which is the doctor that she was having an affair with in the first movie, and also his wife. So we have 3 killers in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah. You're stacking a lot, but yeah.
How do we feel about that?
It's a twist within a twist on a twist.
Sure.
Different dimension, different rules. I mean, whatever.
Ed has a lot to say here.
We live now in this movie. We're in a Scooby-Doo dimension.
Yep.
Where the murderer in the mask is the only other person in the show, but y'all.
Yeah, basically, he's right. I can't disagree. I really can't. Like, it's corny, but that's kind of what this movie is. So,
okay.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it just kind of kept with the entire theme. Like the movie didn't try to be anything more. It did go drama there, and it just for story, it's a typical sequel, man. You gotta it's you're building a world here, or universes.
But do
rather.
you guys really care at this point in the movie who the killer is? Because I don't think the movie even really told us that it gave a shit about who the killer was. I think the movie was trying to tell us to give a shit about how the hell is she going to fix this and get back to Dimension A.
It was a comedy part too when they had to go to get the keys from the dean.
That was fun, by the way.
For me, yeah, because the dean steals the machine and they have to go in there and steal. And a lot happens, dude. Like that. This is where it comes to. So, like almost after the whole suicide montage, it just seems like almost every 10 minutes you have a change or a shift in something of the story, or where they they kind of go down one story path of like the whole time, then they go, oh wait, that's right, the murders, and then they go to the murder part, and it goes back into a scary movie, it goes back into a horror, and then it goes, oh yeah, wait, that's right, stop, and then it goes back into like a drama a little bit. Oh yeah, let's do the time stuff, and let's do the sci-fi stuff, and then they go, oh wait, stop, right there, and then go back into a horror movie, go back to the hospital, so it's just kind of a lot of back and forth. You know what I mean? Like that's basically how this movie played. Where like every 10 minutes it went from horror to drama, horror to comedy drama. It just switched. So it paced itself well.
All right. Well,
I was trying to hope when you guys pick it up after that. That's all I have to say.
No. I think this is a good point to get into our popcorn ratings. But the end of the movie is Tree eventually gets the chance to go back to Dimension A. Everything is great, and then after credit sequence, they discover that Danielle, who is the bitchy sorority girl, she is now in a time loop, and Tree doesn't want to do anything to help her at all. So, popcorn rating here for Happy Death Day to you, Ed. What is your popcorn rating for Happy Death Day to you? Happy Death Day to you. I can't talk. There we go.
One bag of popcorn. So one small bag of popcorn. I'm sorry. One small bag of popcorn. Because the first half of the movie was tolerable. But and the movie itself wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. It's really not. But like, this is not a horror movie. It really is not. It is. When you think of horror movie, yes, Jordan, I think of slasher films, and I think of things like those. But there's also like some cerebral horror movies that jump out and scare you. Like this, literally is none of these things. This is a retooled version of a movie that was really good and did really well and was very creative, and they took that creativity and made another movie and ruined it. Didn't ruin the first one, but just took what was built in the first one and then just sort of like shit on it.
Wow. Okay. All right. Eric, what is your popcorn rating for Happy Death Day to you?
I mean, I still like what's going on. It's not what I expected, but I guess I was more entertained than disappointed in everything. It was just kind of like, all right, well, it's just one of these. I give it a medium bag just because I still had fun with the kills. I really like Jessica. Is it just Roth and the E silent or the E silent at the end? Rothy. I'm sure she gets that confused all the time. So apologies if you're listening to this. But the other part is I think she's a great actress. I believed her in this role. I like her work. I hope to see her in more. I think she was wonderful in this. So, and because of the good work that she had done, and the originality of the story, the first one, and how we got world building in this one, I'm giving it a medium bag just because I was entertained in this one. It was definitely not as good as the first one, but I would still be curious to see what happens in the third if they went that route. Listen, I got kills. I got some fun kills here. It was again less of a horror in that aspect, and a lot more movie in that aspect. And I mean, sure. I don't know what I had expected, but again, this movie, I feel like it didn't take itself seriously, or like I don't mean to say that. Like I think it didn't go beyond its own realm. If I'm trying to if you guys can get on board with that, it didn't try to be something that it wasn't. It stayed true to the character of it, and that probably is more likely because of the same director. But it gave it service, and that's just what it is. Medium bag. I enjoyed this movie. I don't know. It's a sequel, so if you're trying to be forgiving about what's not as good as the first, but I'm on board. I enjoyed it. That's what I'm trying to say. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. How about that? Is that what you want? You want the action? You want the...
You want to break me down and say, all right, I'm afraid, all right? Anyway, movie quote. No, this is the highest rating I can give. This is definitely a large bag. This is great. This is absolutely great. It is on par with the first movie. The reason why I say that is just because of what I said earlier in the show. I can't speak for Eric and Ed, but for me individually, I grew up on 80s and early 90s slasher films. I know the stereotypes. I know the tropes. And when a movie like this comes along and turns it upside down and does something completely new to the genre and doesn't give us the same old shit of Jason chasing virgins and Freddy and Michael chasing virgins, it gives us something different and something new, and it adds new elements into the story. I just thoroughly enjoy it. I think these movies are fun, and I think that's the one thing that maybe you guys, or maybe not you guys, maybe Ed in general. But I mean, like, I didn't go into the first movie with a title called Happy Death Day to You expecting a Halloween or a Friday the 13th or a Nightmare. I was going to a movie called Happy Death Day to You to see what the fuck they were going to do to fuck it up, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. And that's the same way I feel about this one. The opening didn't get me right because I don't care about Ryan. What I cared about was Tree. She was my Ripley for this one, so I was excited to see her character come back and her development and her build, and how could she grow even more than what she could in the first movie. And I would argue that she grew even more as a character in this movie. I thought it was fun.
The whole mom thing was very...
Yeah, the mom thing was great. And the dad had more camera time with it as well. I just don't see this as a horror movie because this is something that I have said for years. This is the end of my review. I guess I'm done with because I large bag. But just on a little, overdose here at the end of the show. Anytime an R-rated franchise switches over to PG-13, it sucks. You cannot give me a good PG-13 horror movie. You just can't. I cannot name you one great, amazing PG-13 horror film.
Scared Stupid?
I mean, no.
Was that PG?
I mean, maybe, but no. So, I mean, like...
First off, man, fuck you to say that. Ernest Scared Stupid? For real? It's PG. So, never mind. It's outside the realm. And yeah, it's a 5.8 on IMDb. I'm sorry, interrupted. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just saying is that when you go to these movies, the first one and this one, being the horror fan that I am and the slasher fan that I grew up with, I'm having fun with these. They are not disappointing me. I'm having a great time with it. And you give me, I mean, hell, they did that with Die Hard. The first three Die Hards were R. The fourth one was PG-13, and the franchise has sucked ever since. They did it with Alien. Same thing.
Happy Death Day is PG-13, it says here.
Yeah, both of them are PG-13, so I went into this expecting dog shit.
Yeah.
And this is why it's not a horror film. It's because you cannot do a great horror film on PG-13. You just can't. History has proven that.
It says here Insidious is PG-13, Sixth Sense, A Quiet Place. Just to name a few. The Ring. The Grudge, A Woman in Black. I'm just being a stinker now to slap you in the face. I just want to let you know that.
Yeah, he's definitely beating.
But you made a big claim there. The Cloverfield, the others. Keep on going.
I can still stand by that claim.
Drag Me to Hell.
And what I mean by still standing by that claim is that even though that some of those movies on the list that you have said are very, very fun, good horror movies, not all of them, unfortunately, it sucks. A Quiet Place is okay. It's very fun. It was a breath of fresh air, but it's nothing that was amazing. I think that Happy Death Day, the two movies, are way superior than it comes to A Quiet Place. I just think they're better. Absolutely.
Fire in the Sky.
Absolutely. Those are arachnophobia is not a horror.
There goes Jordan's credibility.
It's not my credibility. I'm just trying to tell
Clowns from Outer Space.
That movie's terrible.
The Gate.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, here we go. Tremors. Oh, let's talk about it.
You're gonna sit here and tell me that Tremors is a horror film? Really?
More so than this movie was.
It's a monster film. It's a monster.
But these movies are not horror films. That's the thing, is that this movie has the horror element of her being killed every day, but there's more going to it than just that, though. I mean, this movie's not a horror film like Friday the 13th. This movie has a horror element, but it jumps. I mean, this movie is like a new version of Scream, guys. That's exactly what this is. I mean, like, we had the tropes, we had the stereotypes. Scream came out in 96. The characters were talking about those movies that happened in the 80s, and they were aware. Now we're getting into 2019 new millennial territory where this is their Scream. And this is
compare this movie, this franchise to Scream.
I'm on board with listen, this franchise, if it returns to that, it will have a cult following. I enjoyed the first one a lot, and again, it will have a following, and most certainly will. And put into a list of whatever the fuck, because of how different it is. It works. I enjoyed this movie. I really did. I think I just wanted. It gave me more story, and I'm not disappointed with that. I'm maybe let down in my own expectation because I wanted some more good old fashioned killing like I got in the first one. But I had to adjust. Maybe I need to watch it again.
Maybe to end the show, you cannot go into both of these movies expecting something that you're not going to get. It's called Happy Death Day to You. I mean, you're going into something that's going to be absolutely balls-to-the-wall crazy. They had to do something different. I mean, we could not repeat it. Nice. So, thank you so much for listening. Oh, you do it at the end of the show. So thank you so much for listening to us here. Check us out at movieguyspodcast.com and also on iTunes, on Twitter, and on iHeartRadio and Spotify. Just go to Movie Guys Podcast. You'll be able to find this show and many others, and also on YouTube and on Twitch. Just search for Movie Guys Podcast. Eric and Ed, thank you so much for joining me for this episode for Happy Death Day to you. And next week, we'll be releasing an episode early to all you fans. We know we always release an episode on Thursday, but next week, you'll be getting an episode released on Tuesday, only a few days away from this release because it is our Oscar special reaction episode. The Oscars are this Sunday, and on Monday, we are recording our reactions of what we felt of the Oscars. So this is our third annual Oscar reaction show. I'm excited for it. Eric, I know you are.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah,
I know you are. Yeah, no host. Kevin Hart, nope, not around. So we're going to talk about reactions of who won best categories and whatnot. So we're excited to talk about that one. So stay tuned, guys, here to movieguyspodcast.com, and we'll be back for another awesome episode next week. Take care. Have a good night.